and I have been together for 2 years, and during that time, his behavior has taken a toll on me. His outbursts of anger are a constant presence in our relationship, and I'm often made to feel like I'm not good enough for him. He has called me hurtful names, including terms that describe me in a derogatory manner, which has left me feeling down and hopeless. I tried to find the strength to end our relationship, but it was short-lived. In a fit of rage, he slapped me, and then he made a chilling threat to harm himself. Fearing for his well-being and my own, I found myself giving in to his demands and staying with him. I'm not sure what to do. As a 17-year-old, I'm in a difficult position, and it's hard for me to know how to navigate this situation. My partner is 18, and he's told me that if I reveal what's been happening, he'll resort to self-harm. His words have left me feeling torn, as I still care for him deeply. The prospect of seeking help from my parents is daunting, and I'm struggling to find a way AITA for expecting free babysitting since it was my family who asked for a visit. My husband and I were asked to visit our families in another state because we hadn't seen them in person for a few years. They mostly wanted to see our kids who are 1, 3 and 5. My husband and I Ma. Am I the asshole for assuming a free babysitting service from family for our night out? When we hadn't visited our families in another state for a couple of years, they invited us to come see them and the kids. Our little ones are 1, 3, and 5, and they were really looking forward to spending time with their relatives. My husband and I had plans to go out and enjoy some downtime when we returned to our hometown. However, when it came time to make arrangements for the kids, we realized we needed someone to watch them while we had our evening out. I mentioned this to some of our friends and family, but some seemed puzzled by our request. I clarified that just as we were willing to make sacrifices for our loved ones to see the kids, we expected our family members to be willing to lend a hand and give us a break. Edit. I've seen some commenters suggesting that I should be grateful for our family's visit and that a night out is not a big deal. However, this visit was a big deal for us, and we were willing to make significant sacrifices to make it happen. We want to enjoy some quality time with each other and appreciate the help. Update. Some users pointed out that our oil was delivered to my house without my knowledge or consent, and the company is trying to charge me hundreds of dollars in late fees. Long story short, I recently moved into a house in Pennsylvania. An oil provider made a delivery to the house for the previous resident who had. I received an unexpected oil delivery at my Pennsylvania home without my authorization or prior knowledge. The company behind the delivery initially supplied fuel to the previous homeowner, who had since passed away. I was not informed of the delivery and only became aware of it weeks later. While I am willing to pay for the delivered oil, I find it concerning that the company is now seeking hundreds of dollars in late fees for a transaction that occurred without my consent or knowledge. I'm questioning whether there's any leverage I can use to have the late fees waived. TLDRA company is trying to charge me hundreds of dollars in late fees for an oil delivery made to my house without my knowledge or consent after the previous homeowner passed away. I'm unsure if there's any leverage to have the late fees dropped. I broke up with my partner. Over our incompatibility. She wanted a break where she could sleep with other people. I couldn't handle that. Now I have this dull pain every day that I can't shake. Edit. Thank you so much for the support, guys. It's hard K. The weight of heartbreak settles in. A difficult decision has been made, one that was necessary due to the fundamental incompatibilities that had begun to take their toll. A request for a break, coupled with the desire to explore connections with others, was a bridge too far for me to cross. The aftermath leaves an enduring sense of emptiness that refuses to subside. Supportive words are a balm to the soul. It's not always easy to navigate the uncertainty that follows a break, especially when there's no family nearby to offer guidance and comfort. In these moments of vulnerability, the kindness of strangers can be a beacon of hope. For those who may be struggling, or simply looking for a distraction, I'd be happy to connect over a game. My Discord server, Salt0867, is open to anyone who'd like to join in on the fun and form new connections. TLDR. Moved on from a relationship due to incompatibility, seeking support and potential gaming partners in the community. The red-headed devil tried to change my contact info short, but I'm pissed. Today I went to pre-register for my birth here in a few weeks, and when they were confirming my information from my previous birth, they asked about my emergency contact. They said DH name, but then a malicious meddling is causing me considerable distress. I recently visited my local hospital to pre-register for my upcoming birth, and when they were verifying my details from a past birth, they inquired about my emergency contact. Initially, they mentioned my husband's name, but then listed my mother-in-law's phone number instead. Given that my husband has had the same phone number for over a decade, it's absurd that hers would be associated with his account. I'm not sure how or when she managed this, but rest assured that all my accounts are now password protected. Consequently, she will be kept in the dark about my labor, and I'm not pleased about it. A comment I found: engineers being engineers, my company warned the development team that they would be sending phishing emails. The emails showed up and every single engineer clicked on the email. Management was furious and had a meeting to figure out how the entire engineering. A lesson in engineering ingenuity. Our IT department had a clever plan to test our team's security awareness. They sent mock phishing emails, designed to look like legitimate messages, to gauge our response. To their surprise, every single member of the engineering staff fell for the trick and clicked on the email. A subsequent meeting with senior management was convened to discuss how the entire team had been so easily deceived. We explained our perspective, that as engineers, our curiosity and creativity are essential skills. We acknowledged the emails were indeed sent by our company, but we clicked on them to understand the phishing mechanism and see how the company's security system would respond. Our management team was left with a new challenge: finding a balance between educating us about security and allowing our natural curiosity to flourish. Apparently, clicking on phishing emails is a surefire way to catch the attention of senior management, and we're not complaining about the extra meetings. I gave my sister weed when she was 12 and she ended up on heroin. Okay, so I was only about 14 myself. And we both had some serious mental health issues. Weed and ecstasy seemed to help and took my mind off wanting to harm myself. So I figured when my sister started trying to when I was around 14, my family was dealing with some intense emotional struggles, and my 12-year-old sister was particularly vulnerable. I, myself, was grappling with mental health issues and had discovered that marijuana and ecstasy could provide a temporary escape from my pain. I mistakenly believed that these substances could be a harmless solution for my sister, hoping to alleviate her self-destructive tendencies. At the time, it seemed like introducing her to marijuana might redirect her focus away from harming herself. And for a short while, it did. However, she eventually became desensitized to its effects and began experimenting with other substances. By the age of 15, she was hooked on heroin. What's even more disturbing is that she started cultivating her own marijuana at the age of 13 or 14 to fuel her addiction. In hindsight, I realize now that I made a grave mistake by introducing her to these substances, despite my good intentions. Now, I'm left to grapple with the guilt of potentially contributing to her downward spiral. Edit: it seems my previous response was edited without permission. Update: the original poster has expressed concerns about the accuracy of the rewritten response. I will strive to maintain the integrity of the original narrative. TLDRA 14 I hate my boyfriend's haircut, loudly crying I love my boyfriend, 27. But he cuts his hair in the HTLER style, loudly crying weary. He even styles it kinda similar, and since his hair is black I can't help but see a massive resemblance. I've asked him politely to style it differently, and my boyfriend's haircut is a constant source of frustration. Although I adore my boyfriend, 27, his current hairstyle has been a major point of contention for me. He's chosen a haircut that bears an unsettling resemblance to a particular infamous figure, and his dark hair only exacerbates the issue. I've tried approaching him gently about changing his style, but he hasn't seemed to take my suggestions seriously. I understand that ultimately, the decision of how to style his hair rests with him, but I find it difficult to ignore the similarity. It's worth noting that my boyfriend has no connection to extremist ideologies and wouldn't intentionally emulate such a persona. I suspect he may not have been aware of the resemblance until I brought it to his attention, but unfortunately, he hasn't made any effort to alter his hairstyle. TLDR: my boyfriend has a haircut that's eerily similar to an infamous figure, and I'm struggling to accept it. Update: I've chosen not to elaborate on the matter further. Edit: TIFU by mistaking myself for my identical twin brother. This happened a few years ago, but I still haven't really forgiven myself. I'm an identical twin. My brother and I look very alike, and all my life we've both struggled with people always mixing us up. At a party one night, my most embarrassing moment, mistaking myself for my twin brother. Even after several years, the memory of this incident still fills me with a mix of regret and amusement. Growing up as an identical twin has always made it challenging for me and my brother to assert our individual identities, as people often struggle to distinguish us from one another. On a particular night, I found myself at a social gathering, where the excessive consumption of alcohol left me severely impaired. The evening wore on, and eventually, I collapsed on the floor. Someone kindly placed a pillow under my head, allowing me to rest. The following morning, I awoke in a state of disorientation. As my eyes adjusted to the surroundings, I noticed my brother lying beside me. Assuming it was just another instance of people confusing us, I approached him with a friendly demeanor. "Hey, where are we?" I asked, expecting him to share my confusion. However, it soon became apparent that I was not speaking to my brother at all. I was in fact talking to my own reflection, which had been mirrored beside me. TLDR, a drunken night led to me mistaking myself for my identical twin brother, only to discover that I was actually talking to my own reflection. AITA for telling my girlfriend I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish even if it makes her uncomfortable? My late best friend and I knew each other since we were little. We were next-door neighbors and always played together. We even went to the same kindergarten, Prima. Am I the asshole for refusing to give up a promise to my deceased childhood friend, despite my girlfriend finding it uncomfortable? My deceased childhood friend and I have been inseparable since we were young, growing up as next-door neighbors and attending the same school from kindergarten through high school. We even made a pact to outdo our classmates by getting married before they did. During our sophomore year, I gave her a mock wedding ring as a lighthearted joke, and she playfully reciprocated with a scrunchie. Tragically, she was involved in an accident a few weeks later, sustaining severe injuries and spending 2 months in the ICU. Before she passed away, she requested that I honor our mock wedding anniversary and wear her scrunchie on that day. 4 years ago, when I began dating my current girlfriend, I shared this story with her and asked if she was okay with the tradition. She found it charming and expressed no concerns. However, on the 10th anniversary of that mock wedding, my girlfriend expressed her desire to discontinue the tradition, deeming it pathetic that I continued to wear her scrunchie as a tribute. Her comments offended me, as she failed to grasp the significance of my friendship with my AITA for moving out and taking everything throwaway for obvious reasons. Update, in comments smiley face and cat tax as background. I, 30F, lived with a longtime friend, 30M. We lived together for 6 years and known each other for 20 years, close families. He was very accepting. Am I the asshole for abruptly vacating a shared residence and removing all my belongings? Discard for obvious reasons. Update, in comments smiley face and cat tax as background. I, 30F, lived with a longtime friend, 30M, for 6 years after our 20-year acquaintance turned into a close friendship. We welcomed my cat into the home, with I owning everything, including furniture and appliances, as I had a history of independent living. My friend adored my cat and would often spend hours with her, while I covered all the living expenses. However, my friend's life changed when he started dating his girlfriend, GF, 3.5 years in. She promptly moved in and disrupted our living arrangements, making it difficult for us to spend time together. Despite contributing half the rent, she consistently displayed disdain for me and would frequently disregard our previous living dynamic. When I started dating and began spending more time with my boyfriend, tensions escalated. My friend started mistreating my cat, locking her in small cages and confining her to the shower. He also changed his demeanor towards me, leaving a trail of messes and disrespecting my personal space. The situation deteriorated further, with my friend's girlfriend displaying open disdain for me, and my AITA for prioritizing my son's dog over my wife's pregnancy. When my son, 14, was 8, we got a dog. He's half Great Dane and half some dog my friend's dog met during an unauthorized absence. My son loves this dog and does all the care for him, except vet stuff, and is a very... Am I a jerk for putting the well-being of my son's dog above my wife's pregnancy concerns? My son, who is now 14, was 8 when we brought home a lovable, mixed-breed dog that's half Great Dane. The dog has become his closest companion, and my son takes full responsibility for caring for him, excluding trips to the vet. My son's dedication to the dog's well-being is a testament to the strong bond they share. My wife recently discovered she's 12 weeks pregnant, and ever since the news broke, she's been exhibiting unusual behavior around the dog. She avoids interacting with him, covers her stomach when he's near, and becomes jumpy when he makes noise. She recently expressed a desire to rehome the dog, which came as a shock to me. According to my wife, her concerns stem from anxiety about the dog jumping on her. However, I believe this fear is unfounded. We've trained the dog not to jump on people or knock into them, especially given his potential to grow into a large size. The dog has never displayed any aggressive behavior towards my wife or anyone else in our household. My wife claimed that we can't guarantee the dog won't jump on her, and if he does TIFU by not thinking before purchasing googly eyes on Amazon. So this happened today but began a couple of days ago. Like a lot of you, I became unemployed in March due to COVID. I hate saying this, but the time off work has been a blessing for me since I'm used to working TIFU by underestimating the power of googly eyes on Amazon. It all started a few days ago, but the events that unfolded today have left me in a rather peculiar situation. As many of you may know, I lost my job in March due to the COVID pandemic. While it was initially a challenge to adjust to the sudden change in routine, the time off work ended up being a blessing in disguise. I was able to recharge, focus on myself, and work on various creative projects that had been pending. However, my creative spark seems to have fizzled out, leaving me with a case of boredom and uncertainty about how to reignite my passion for writing and drawing. Everything I've attempted lately has been, shall we say, unimpressive. To pass the time, I thought it would be a good idea to purchase something frivolous on Amazon, either to occupy myself or revisit some old favorite video games. I could have bought a Hot Wheels set, but it was a bit pricey. Alternatively, I could have splurged on some super soakers, but our air quality is currently hazardous due to the state of emergency in my area. A laser pointer could be fun to play with, but I decided against it. Then, I stumbled TIFU by sending a massive dildo and butt plug meme to my entire office along with my timesheets. This was just a little less than a year ago, and I still get made fun of for it almost daily. I'm a security guard, been one for a few years. Last February I left one company and the TIFU moment I'm still recovering from, accidentally sending a raunchy meme to my entire office with my timesheets. It's been almost a year since this incident occurred, and I'm still being teased about it almost daily. As a security guard, I've been in the profession for a few years. Last February, I transferred to a new company, where I currently work, and this mishap happened. I was assigned to guard a bank ATM and had just started my new job. I suddenly remembered that I needed to submit my timesheets before the deadline. I quickly took a few photos of them and attached them to an email. Meanwhile, a friend had sent me a meme dump, which included a few humorous images. I got sidetracked and started scrolling through them, chuckling quietly. In my haste, I accidentally attached one of the memes to the email with my timesheets. The subject line read, "Happy Friday guys. Be safe," which seemed harmless at the time. When I sent the email, I thought everything was fine, but my supervisor soon called me, informing me to double-check my email before sending it. That's when I realized my mistake. I had accidentally attached a raunchy meme of a gigantic dildo and customer hits no, cancels transaction. I leave to clock out. Recently quit my job at a convenience store. My 2 weeks were in, and it was my last day, minutes before the end of my shift. I notice a long line and jump on register to help. 2 customers come to the register toge. A customer's transaction is cancelled, and I decide to clock out early. It's my final day working at a convenience store. With my 2 weeks of notice behind me, I've made it to the end of my shift, just minutes ahead of time. I notice a long line at the register and take over to help. 2 customers approach the register together, and one asks for a pack of cigars. Our store policy, as well as state law, demands that I verify the age of both customers. I turn to retrieve the cigars after politely asking for identification from each customer, but one of them abruptly leaves the store. In this situation, I must see identification from both customers before I can finalize the transaction, no matter which one chooses to leave. I explain this to the remaining customer, but he becomes agitated. Fortunately, my manager is working on the adjacent register and I mention the situation to them. It's now 10:02, my shift is scheduled to end at 10, and we're allowed to stay on the clock during peak periods. The customer insists he doesn't know the other man, despite their apparent connection. Feeling frustrated but wanting to conclude the interaction, I tell the customer to proceed with the transaction. He inserts his card into the AITA for making my son deal with rotting meat I go hunting every year. I'm not a trophy hunter by any means, I do it for meat and almost purely for economic reasons at this point. Taking a few of deer off my property once a year keeps my freezer stocked and the grocery bill away. Was I the asshole for making my son deal with rotting meat? I'm an avid hunter who's been doing it for economic reasons, mainly to stock our freezer with deer meat and lower our grocery bills. We've got a large freezer in the garage that I fill up once a year. It's usually only opened once a week when we take out what we need for the next few days. About 6 months ago, my 15-year-old son decided to become a vegetarian. My wife and I were supportive and made adjustments to our meals, ensuring he could still eat with us. We made meatless meals twice a week and kept meat separate on other nights, which worked out fine. However, last week, when I was pulling out meat for the week, my son snuck up behind me and unplugged the freezer. Apparently, he thought we weren't doing enough to support his vegetarian lifestyle, despite never complaining about our previous arrangements. With the freezer unplugged, the meat quickly started to rot and stink in the summer heat. It wasn't until we noticed the awful smell that we realized what had happened. When I confronted my son, he proudly admitted to unplugging the freezer, expecting us to go meat-free as a result. I explained to him where something sexier. This actually recently happened to my cousin who works in a betting window. It's also a place with those betting machines, roulette. But not a typical casino. So, she's been working there for almost a year and there are 6 employees, 5 girls and 1. Dressed to impress, this rather bizarre incident recently occurred with my cousin, who works at a betting window. This particular establishment features betting machines, roulette, and other games, but it's not your typical casino. My cousin has been working there for nearly a year, alongside 5 female colleagues and 1 male coworker. The atmosphere was pleasant until a new manager took over 2 months ago, implementing a new strategy to boost player satisfaction and increase betting activity. The manager requested that the employees dress more attractively, showing more skin by wearing smaller numbers on their uniforms. He also expected them to engage in flirtatious behavior with male patrons. What's more, the manager suggested that 2 of the female employees shed a few pounds to keep their jobs, while any weight gain among the other females would incur fines. As you can imagine, the employees were deeply uncomfortable with these demands. Despite the objections, the employees eventually conformed to the new dress code, with even the male coworker participating by wearing extremely short shorts and a tight, revealing shirt. He even attempted to flirt with the patrons, a sight that left everyone in stitches. However, the manager was enraged when he saw the male employees' new attire, and he had a heated confrontation with the staff at the end of AITA for refusing to dye my daughter's hair because her school complained. My daughter, 15F, dyed her hair dark reddish-brown for her birthday. I didn't let her dye her hair in middle school but said she could in high school. The school has a dress code for hair that just spe. Am I the a-hole for refusing to comply with my daughter's school's request to dye her hair back to its original black color? My 15-year-old daughter decided to dye her hair a dark reddish-brown color for her birthday. I had allowed her to do so in high school, as long as it was not a drastic change. The school's dress code for hair specified natural hair colors only, which I assumed meant colors such as brown, blonde, red, and black. Her natural hair color is indeed black, and the hairdresser assured me that the bleaching process had not caused significant damage. However, one of her teachers had been complaining about her hair color during parent-teacher conferences since last October, stating that it did not meet the dress code. I countered by pointing out that many of her classmates had blonde hair or highlights, despite being natural brunettes. The teacher insisted that her hair was not her natural color, implying that it was somehow inferior due to her Asian heritage. I expressed my concerns to the principal, but he sided with the teacher, claiming that it was against the dress code. The situation continued throughout the school year, with me contacting the superintendent on multiple occasions but receiving no response. Now, as the new school year, choosing Beggar's Swastika Tattoo Edition. So I'm a tattoo artist, have been for 17 years. I'm highly regarded in my area. This is just to say I know my business. Anyway, as part of an event my shop was participating in, I personally held a cover-up contest I took submit. The Dark Side of Art, a swastika tattoo conundrum. As a seasoned tattoo artist with 17 years of experience, I'm well versed in my craft. I've earned a reputation in my community, and I take pride in my work. Recently, my shop participated in an event where I held a cover-up contest. The idea was simple. We'd collect submissions of poor tattoos, and the winner would receive a complimentary cover-up. The submissions poured in, showcasing a mix of ex-spouse names, regrettable party tattoos from the teens, and scarred, indecipherable messes. Amidst the contenders, one individual stood out, a gentleman who sheepishly approached me, revealing a massive, 9 by 9 inch swastika on his ribs. He expressed his embarrassment about taking his kids to the beach and his desire to distance them from the symbol. I sympathized with his concern and saw an opportunity for a unique portfolio piece, given the size and straight lines of the swastika. This would be a challenging cover-up, but I was up for the task. We scheduled a meeting to discuss the design, and he expressed a desire for Viking-themed artwork. I was receptive to the idea, considering my affinity for Vikings, and patient wants what he wants, so I just need to shut up and give it to him. Okay, patient comes into my pharmacy. I'm here for my COVID test appointment. By the way, please stop coming into our store without a mask if you think you may have COVID. We have a drive-through, I'm sore. A patient's demands can be quite overwhelming, making it necessary for me to just stay calm and focus on providing the service they're asking for. A patient enters my pharmacy, stating they're there for a COVID-19 test appointment. I kindly inform them that we only conduct the tests on Tuesdays and Thursdays due to our lab delivery system. However, the patient insists they've already scheduled the appointment. They proceed to show me the forms for an antibody test, which I explain to them is not the same thing and won't provide a result indicating the presence of the virus at that moment. The patient demands a negative result for their son's soccer camp, claiming that's the required test for registration. My manager intervenes, reminding the patient that this isn't the test the camp requires. The situation escalates as the patient becomes agitated and interrupts my manager, saying, "You don't know what they require for my son's camp, so just give me the test I paid for." We decide to proceed with the test. During the waiting period, my manager discreetly contacts the soccer camp's registration manager, a personal acquaintance, to clarify their testing requirements. The manager learns that the antibody test won't suffice for the camp's registration. Upon the patient's TIFU and got my name on a suicide watch list a few weeks ago, I was in my final class of semester, the night before the exam. I am a student paramedic, and the mental health of our cohort is very carefully monitored by the school, for obvious reasons. As the class ended, my semester's dark turn a couple of weeks ago, I found myself in the last class of the semester, the night before the exam. As a student paramedic, my academic institution places a keen focus on monitoring the mental health of our cohort, given the nature of our profession. After the class ended, my tutor approached me and expressed her appreciation for my efforts throughout the semester, stating her hope to see my name on her class list in the future. I responded with a wry remark, quipping, "They have a roster of students who take a rather drastic route out, right? You should keep an eye out for my name there." While this type of dark humor is common among those of us in the medical field, it appears my tutor wasn't entirely in on the joke. She initially laughed, but then her expression turned somber. "Unfortunately, I have to report your comment," she said. I assumed she was still joking, and we shared another laugh. Unfortunately, it seemed I was mistaken. The next day, I received a call from the university's mental health department, scheduling my first mandatory therapy session. TLDR. Made a stupid joke, got stuck on suicide watch, required to do therapy this semester. AITA for telling my stepmom that she can use the missing child support payments to fund my part of my dad's gift? Sorry for the wordy title. My 18M dad left my mom when I was 6. not because of my stepmom. 4 years ago he met and married my AITA. She had 3 kids from A. Was it fair for me to tell my stepmom that she could use the unpaid child support to cover my contribution to my dad's gift? I'd like to clarify that my 18M dad left my mom when I was 6, not due to my stepmom's influence. After his departure, he lived with my stepmom, Ida, who had 3 children from a previous marriage that he grew close to. However, our relationship suffered as a result. I only saw him sporadically, often just 7 to 8 times a year, due to the distance between our homes. A year after they got together, he experienced a change of heart and demanded 50-50 custody, which only exacerbated the pain. He made an effort to bridge the gap by building a room for me at his new home, showering me with gifts, and even planning a grand birthday celebration for my 12th birthday. However, at 13, I began to distance myself from him. My perception of him as my father was distorted by the absence of his presence in my life. On the other hand, my uncle, who took me in as one of his own, became the father figure I always needed. My aunt and cousin also became, well, here goes, not a great update. I took a number of suggestions on what to bring up to him and how to have the conversation about my concerns. He did the usual, a difficult reality check. I'm facing a difficult situation, and I'm not sure where to begin. My fiancé, who is 7 years my senior, has been carrying an excessive amount of weight for some time now. The weight gain has become a significant concern for me, and I've been trying to bring it up in conversations. However, he tends to brush it off or downplay the issue. After a long and grueling conversation, I finally got him to open up about the truth. His response has left me stunned, and I'm struggling to come to terms with the reality. It turns out that he has a weight gain fetish. He gets pleasure from deliberately putting on weight. He claims that this started unintentionally in college, where he would overindulge in junk